Welcome to the 6th episode of the Mol Belgie recaps from Reality TV Warriors. My name is Michael Harmstone, and joining me as always is the Canadian who always struggles to tell Peru and Greece apart, Logan Saunders.
Good morning.
Good morning, and hello from a very delayed Kruger National Park.
Yes, Kruger National Park within South Africa. It is South Africa's most prestigious safari reserve. I am doing this podcast in an office inside of one of the private research facilities in this park. And it has the worst Wi-Fi of anywhere I have ever been, except maybe the Philippines.
And yet we still managed to do it on time in the Philippines. Somehow.
Somehow. I think we didn't have to, 3 days in Cebu? I didn't have to record in Cebu. I think we waited till I was at the next place.
Yeah. So yeah, we've broken our streak. Wah, 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 wah. And it's all Logan's fault as always, but he's seen lots of animals this week.
Yeah, everyone gets to see pictures of lions, giraffes, zebras, hyenas, spotted owls, bunnies. I saw a bunny on the OneDrive yesterday.
Tying it into the Belgian mole season.
Yes, a very good tie-in.
Corporate synergy.
And I nearly lost my job this week.
Yay! On both the podcast and your normal job.
The price of a once-in-a-lifetime experience.
Is it worth it?
Well, considering I'm still allowed on this podcast and I still managed to keep my job because barely, on both counts, it was barely. I had a staff of about at least eight people who have driven me around, allowed me to use the empty offices, which I am not authorized to use. And yeah, so it's just super kind and generous people that let everyone hear my podcast for today and let me watch this episode of Belgian Mole, or about half of it, because I had to skip through the boring part so I could get to this podcast on time.
So anyway, Belgian Mole. And what another fun episode.
Yes, we have loved ones in the form of avatars, which I cannot recall really happening on any major reality show.
It's just such an insane concept, and I love it.
It's the fact that they had to program that. I'm thinking, how long did it take for them to program that? And how much money did they have to pay programmers to design that whole game?
And also, more importantly, what's the lag on that? Because they're all wearing earpieces. There's got to be someone transferring the controls. How was that even done?
I mean, yeah, because I know Vietnam has even worse Wi-Fi than where I am. It's like Vietnam and Philippines have similar terrible Wi-Fi.
Although at least, the one thing I will say for Vietnam, I could use my mobile web in Vietnam. It's part of my my international package, so it's not as bad as it could have been.
And they were in Hanoi. I guess they were in a major city. They were probably they were in an internet cafe, it looked like.
Not just an internet cafe, a Superman-themed internet cafe.
Yeah, Superman-themed. Somebody had to jump into the phone booth to change into being the mole. Super Mole.
So previously, Bruno and Axel found knives while everyone else lost money in a hike. Joeri looked for drainpipes while everyone lost their shit at a joke. Baz was locked up, but he could win an exemption in a paintball game, while Ava sat it out and then went home. And we open with a video game parody, sponsored by Brussels Airlines, and the most powerful enemies are children.
I think that was deliberate editing, to cut the most powerful enemies as Bruno's getting beat up by a bunch of kids.
I think so too. But it did make me laugh, given how much that we take the piss out of Bruno for that. And we meet all of their loved ones, which is Joeri's wife, Baz's cousin, Kat's brother, Axel's girlfriend, Bruno's wife, and Elisabet's husband. And they are being challenged to catch the flight, as only one of them can.
You know how I was suspecting Elisabet at the top going into this week?
Yeah.
She is definitely far and away number one after this episode. She sabotaged a hell of a lot this week.
It's basically between her and Kat for Belgium now.
Oh, that's who they have it narrowed down to?
Yeah. I was having a look at this whilst having my breakfast this morning, and I think Kat is on about 26%, and Elisabet's on about 25% now. It's really, really close between them.
Yeah, when you think of all of Elisabet's sabotages, they're very mole-ish sabotages too.
Yeah, I think it was about 26% that Cat's on, which is who I'm supporting, and I'm assuming you're still very much on Elisabet.
Yes, especially after this episode. Just little things that she does that just keeps adding up.
Cat has still lost by far and away the most money, though.
Yeah, but that's just Cat. It's just Cat being Cat. Let her be.
And we open this episode on day 11, and everyone travelling to Hanoi. And it's halfway through the show, and everyone wonders if they will get a family visit. But interestingly, Kat says she doesn't think there will be a visit. The reason I point that out is because the very last line of the Mole's diary last week was that everyone is going to be devastated when they realise that there's not going to be any family visit, because I know there's not going to be any family visit.
Or they just know that's who you have tunnel busy for, so they included that line intentionally.
Maybe, but would Jill really mislead us like that?
Yes.
And Joeri says that not bringing in their loved ones will create emotional time bombs.
Yeah, especially with him and his kids, I just expect Joeri to just spontaneously combust by next week.
Well, yeah, because he's already got an obsession with drain pipes. I mean, it's only a short step between him making a pipe bomb, surely.
It's like talking about drain pipes as coping mechanism.
Yeah. Drain pipe is his safe word.
Joeri, why do you keep saying drain pipe? I don't know. I feel like I'm suppressing some emotional turmoil. I think I miss my family, so I'm just going to keep talking about drain pipes between now and when I leave. Is the mole male or female? Drain pipe. Which group was the mole in? Drain pipe. Who's the mole? Drain pipe.
And yet he still isn't going home.
Well, yeah, because Michael got a -1 on this quiz.
He somehow managed to answer something that wasn't there every week.
Yeah. It's like he wasn't. It's like he wasn't in the game for the first 6 episodes. He practiced juggling too somehow. I don't know how he knew to do that.
But yeah, drain pipe for Joeri is the equivalent of I can't for Brooke Camhigh. It's just psyching him up.
Yeah. I don't think I can.
And Jill meets them in Clark Station, which is a video game cafe themed around Superman, weirdly. And they can earn €5,000 in this challenge, but the money is at Brussels Airport. However, they will have some help from their loved ones. They can grab the money and bring it to Vietnam, but they can only respond through the controls that the players give. And they have to get through 3 levels to earn the money and their loved one visits.
Be funny if it's at Charleroi Airport.
I'm not sure which airport it was.
I'd assume Brussels Airport if it's Brussels Airlines, because Brussels Airlines wouldn't use Charleroi.
Yeah, because Brussels Airport was credited in the credits, saying with thanks to Brussels Airport.
Yeah, Charleroi is just what Corsica Air, Ryanair, and like one other discount airline. I think is all in Charleroi.
Yeah, I was going to say it's all the cheap ones, Charleroi, isn't it?
Yeah, because it's way outside of Brussels. I'm in Brussels. You have to drive like 45 minutes outside the city.
Well, Manchester Airport's probably half an hour, 45 minutes outside of Manchester.
That's true, but Belgium, you're pretty much driving outside of Belgium to go to Brussels Airport or Charleroi Airport.
And they split into 2 teams, so we have Baz, Elisabet, and Kat as the red team, and Bruno, Joeri, and Axel as the blue team. And in the first round, they could test out the controls, and through the level, there are 6 balloons for their loved ones to pop. Each balloon contains a word, which, sadly for them, spells out the phrase, "Only one can come to Vietnam."
Only one will remain to claim the valuable visit. 12 days, 3 levels, 1 family visit.
Thank you, Probst. Have you realised that we're, less than a month away from Survivor South Africa, by the way?
No. I didn't even know when the premiere date was.
I think it's the 12th of May?
Mother's Day.
Yeah. Well, Mother's Day in the wrong areas of the world, yeah. Sorry to be Mother's Day, Logan. Yeah, I think it's the 12th of May. It's the last week of Belgian Mole. It overlaps with, I think.
And I can't believe we might have an all-winners by next year.
I know. What the hell?
All-winner Survivor. They'll probably mess it up with having Edge of Extinction, Redemption Island all mixed in, but still.
And there's strong rumours of some really confusing choices as well.
Like who?
Pretty much every winner is actually in the mix. Even the ones like Michelle where Probst really doesn't like her.
But they can't. Not every winner is going to be able to come back.
No, there's going to be some of them who don't. 16th of May, Survivor South Africa comes back, by the way.
Right. Oh, I guess they film all winners soon. That's the big deal, too.
Yeah, that's the whole point of all winners suddenly appearing, is the fact that they'll be filming it probably in about 2 months.
Right.
Maybe even less than that, actually.
Yeah, because don't they usually film, like, by early May?
Probst is usually back from the second season that they film by the time of the finale in May. No, he can't be. He must be back from the first one for that, because there's not 39 days.
Right, yeah. Okay, we should talk about this episode, because I definitely could have a lesson in like 10 minutes.
Has anyone booked onto your lesson in 10 minutes?
I've been refreshing a couple times already, waiting for it to refresh. No, not so far. So, anyways, the video game, there's one team that clearly went for the money and then wasn't able to earn anything, and one team that had no interest in earning any money and showed off the worst geography skills I've ever seen.
The split here is basically people who everyone suspects as a mole, Bass, Elisabet and Kat, and people who nobody suspects as a mole, Bruno, Joeri, and to a lesser extent Axel.
Yeah, I don't suspect anyone that went for money were like, well, these are my bottom three suspects. Thank you, production, for being absolutely no help. It's pretty much like, let's guarantee teams so that there's no way almost no money will be earned for this task.
But more importantly, the question on the quiz was going to get asked which team was the mole in, and you're obviously going to say the red team.
Well, Bruno went all for one person, so maybe he didn't even get that one right.
That does sound like Bruno. So yeah, once the message, only one visitor comes to Vietnam, Elisabet cries, because obviously she wants to see her husband for some sexy time.
Yeah, she's just really having major withdrawals. She's like shaking, she's sweating, and it's not even from the humidity. It's just that she's really horny.
She just really wants them.
She just really wants to bang.
And Jill, as he loves to, confirms the twist and then says that the one visitor will bring a significant advantage with them.
And that is no understatement.
Yeah, it's a really cool idea, and I don't know how we've got through like 50 seasons of the Mole without this being an advantage that comes, but we'll get there. So everyone moves on to level 2, and the teams are in different hangars and see locations, and they have to check in a suitcase that matches the country of their location to earn €1,000. If they are wrong, then their entire team is locked out for 1 minute, and the team who gets 5 suitcases checked in fastest, whether they're right or wrong, moves to level 3, and knock the other team out.
Belgium will always love a challenge involving suitcases.
Yeah, and I know for a fact that when you were watching this episode this morning, you were going, oh my god, they have terrible geography skills.
Yes. Where's Jakarta?
Yeah, if you don't know, Logan memorized all the flags of the world when he was like 3.
Pretty much. 7.
Yeah, this is Logan's like superhuman skill.
There was one that did stump me that I had never heard of. It was that town in Tunisia.
I mean, I'm pretty sure I could give you any random country and say, what's the flag look like, and you could describe it.
Yeah, probably. I'd probably mix like a couple in like Polynesia or like Caribbean. But yeah, I'd do a good job.
What about Samoa?
Samoa? Oh, isn't that like with the, whatchamacallit? That's with there's like a Union Jack on there. It's a light blue background.
No.
It's like a line. No?
No.
Is that the dot?
No, Samoa is red, apart from the top left corner, which is blue, and has white stars basically in the shape of a question mark.
Damn it. Oh, because it's the set. Yeah, never mind. Yeah, I told you, Polynesia I'm rusty on.
What about Palau?
Palau, isn't that one with the sun on the flag?
That is the one with the sun on the flag,
yeah.
Yeah. We'll do one more just to make you feel better about yourself. Dominican Republic.
Oh, Dominican Republic. That's it's red, white, and blue on it, isn't it? With I'm trying to think. If you show me the flag, and I've never been asked to describe the flags before. This is like the challenge in reverse. Oh, there's the cross. cross goes through the middle. It's red, like blue, black with white.
Dominican Republic is a white cross in the middle with a seal in the middle. Like
with a seal.
Yeah, presidential seal. And then top left and bottom right are blue. Top right and bottom left are red.
Yeah, that's actually really tough to be told the country and describe the flag. It's way easier because you always study it in the reverse.
You said you could do it.
I'm going to have to practice that. Yeah, I thought so, but it's actually a lot tougher than it sounds. I'm going to have to try and do that. I'm going to try and describe flags in reverse.
That's one guaranteed hint for this week. Logan fails a challenge.
I didn't fail. I still said it was a cross, and I described some of the colors. It's tough to picture all the arrangement.
Yeah, you got the wrong colours, though. You said black was on it. Black's not on it.
Well.
Anyway, as Logan said, the red team decide to just go straight for their loved ones because they don't care about the money, because they're all the mole. And the blue team decides to try and earn €5,000. So the blue team gets Malmo, which is obviously in Sweden, and the red team gets Jakarta, which is not in Sweden.
Definitely not Sweden. Yeah, I'm actually surprised that none of those three knew where Jakarta was, because that's an actual world capital and a very big city.
And Kat drops off the flag of the Philippines and gets a timeout. And then Axel manages to drop their suitcase due to a wrong command. And the blue team get their first suitcase and their next location, which is Limassol. And the red team get Punta Cana.
Dominican Republic.
Yep.
It's like a very famous resort.
Not Spain, Elisabet.
Not Spain, yeah.
Although, let's be perfectly honest, Elisabet was going straight for her husband.
Yes.
Not for the loved one visit, just straight for her husband.
Yeah, right for the Jeep.
And then Elisabet thinks that Auckland is Australia and not New Zealand, but they accidentally check in the right case and get Corfu.
And Corfu, of course, is the big party city in Greece.
It is. And that accidental correct answer was pretty much what won them the challenge.
Yeah, because then they would have had another timeout. And then the other team would have been able to earn them €5,000, yeah.
And I would have been very interested to see who would have been the most competitive in that team.
Maybe Joeri. I just don't get the feeling Bruno doesn't sound like he pays much attention to his wife. Well, like when she gives him that gift when they have the dinner, he's like, she's like, oh, you'll know what that is inside. Then he opens it up and he's like, oh, I've never seen this before. And then she says, oh, we've had this for 10 years. Oh, yeah. Well, is there games on it? Does it play music?
I think given how cut up he was about losing, Axel probably would have been the one to go straight for his girlfriend rather than the money in that team.
Yeah, I think so too. Definitely not Bruno. Bruno's like, oh, well, hopefully you have dinner made for me when I get home.
And Joeri checks in their second correct one, while Kat drops off Peru instead of Greece and gets them another timeout. And then the blue team get Tallinn and correctly guess Estonia. Then they get Santiago, which is Chile.
Purple, white, black is Estonia.
Thank you, Logan. And the red team are on to Madeira and check in a wrong case again. And the door to level 3 unlocks for them. And the blue team check in a fourth correct one, given their final city of Djerba in Tunisia.
I've never heard of that town.
Neither have I, but Joeri evidently has. And the red team's penalty ends just as the blue team put their correct case on the desk, meaning that only €1,000 can be earned. And Bruno, Axel and Joeri lose their €4,000 and none of them are getting a visit.
Not physically.
And now into level 3, which is one of the most ridiculous challenges we've seen for a long while.
Use an avatar to hit boxes to add up to the number 15, then choose either between grabbing the suitcase or going straight for the plane, which will let you have your loved one. Who was smoking crack in the room?
It's essentially go through these cardboard boxes on golf carts, have a lot of fun, and maybe win some money. And after we discussed it last week, as level 3 begins, the theme from the Avengers plays.
Yep. And Kat makes the mistake of going for the suitcase. Because apparently she loves her loved ones as much as Michelle does.
But was that a deliberate mole action?
Probably, because then there'd be a lot more focus and attention on her if she was the only one with a loved one to show up.
And also, more importantly, if she goes for the money, no one else does.
Yeah, that's true too. They both are forced to go straight for the airplane. That's an indirect sabotage.
Would the mole care about getting their loved one? And would it depend on the relationship?
Jill's did. That was the only challenge he said where he tried his hardest.
Would it depend on the relationship as well?
Yeah, I mean, if it's like somebody you went to school with or like a second cousin, then yeah, you're probably not going to try as hard.
Yeah, because Baz's loved one was his cousin, and I don't know how close they are, but I highly doubt that it's as close as Elisabet and her husband, or Joeri and his wife. Or, well, not Bruno and his wife.
Yeah, I mean, you can't bang a cousin.
Not unless it's Arrested Development.
Yeah.
But, I mean, Kat's brother, is she going to be as close with her brother as Elisabet is with her husband? Hopefully not.
Hopefully not. They're not Taylor and Courtney. You know what makes it funny with the whole, like, because Bas looks like Buster Bluth from Arrested Development, so the whole cousin thing, maybe we don't rule it out.
It makes perfect sense. And Elisabet's husband, Mikhail, boards the plane first, and Elisabet wins the challenge, but no money for the pot.
Nothing.
Absolutely nothing.
Good God, Jill.
And she doesn't even get access to her husband for another day.
Yeah, she just gets a day of waiting in anticipation and flying from one end of Vietnam to the other.
And just longing and praying that she can see her husband again.
Yeah.
And everyone except Elisabet is disappointed, obviously. Kat less so, because, not kissing siblings. And then we get the wonderful thing from Bruno saying that you have to walk confidently in Vietnam not to get run over.
Yeah, that is a pro tip.
Which is 100% true, and it's something I've said about Vietnam before. Because it's a real-life game of Frogger, and if you stop, you will die.
Yeah. Philippines was a lot like that, too. And actually, Bali. Well, anywhere in a lot of places in Southeast Asia.
And Gilles says that every day 5 million mopeds are driven in Hanoi, and he's looking for 2 people who won't miss a moped, and 2 who want to take their moped exam. And Kat and Bas are volunteered to watch mopeds, Axel and Bruno to drive them, and then Elisabet and Joeri are left over, and they are the social media team. And they are filming everything, but don't have any photos yet.
Who knew a guy named Axel would want to drive something with wheels?
And this isn't even my favourite Axel moment of the episode, because my favourite Axel moment of the episode is by far him talking about planes.
Yeah? What do you say about planes?
Well, when they fly to Ho Chi Minh City, he realises that they're flying on a 747 and describes it as the Queen of the Skies.
Boeing will love to hear that endorsement.
Yeah, I'm like, Axel, you're such a poser.
And I drive it as its king.
And Bruno doesn't know what a duckface is, leading to the wonderful moment of Joeri trying to teach him how to duckface.
It's like Bruno's muscles weren't agreeing. We're like fighting against a duck face.
And Axel and Bruno have to drive mopeds the Vietnamese way, stacked full of objects, each worth of different amounts of money. And they have to complete a course with everything loaded on the back. Baz and Kat are taken to the city mural and have to look for 4 buildings based on the small amount of tiles that they've been given. They need to send Joeri and Elisabet to the correct location by describing it for them, and then Joeri and Elisabet must draw it for their driver, who only speaks Vietnamese. And the wall is 5 kilometres long, and they have 2 hours. And also, whilst they are looking at the city mural, Kat and Bas have to keep an eye out for mopeds, which have items on the back, which Axel and Bruno can use to potentially triple their amount of money on the moped, double it, or halve it, or make it worth nothing.
And I believe they make it pretty much worth nothing. Bill McDaniel sabotaged it with one of his boats.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but the mole should definitely be at the mural team.
Yes, because you're in between 2 teams.
And you only have 1 person looking at you.
And that person could be looking at a mural.
Exactly, because in order to be more efficient, one of them has their back to the mural, while one of them has their back to the mopeds. So maybe if the mole is looking at the mopeds, they could accidentally miss a triple one.
Or not notice that having one and say nothing about it, so the other team just includes it anyway.
Not that I think that Cat is the mole, even though I 100% do.
Right.
And there are 5 chickens worth €30 each, 5 blue chairs worth €10 each, 50 toilet papers worth €5 each, 8 red chairs, €25 each, 10 mattresses worth €20 each, and 10 water bottles worth €30 each, for a total, I think, of €1,000. And I say I think because the camera angles were absolutely terrible on this challenge, and me and Bindles debated for about 2 days about how many of each item there were.
Well, let's just go with €1,000.
Yeah, I think it would be €1,000. Well, it would be €1,000 if those numbers are right. And I think it was those quantities.
So, social media team. Can't lean against a tower.
Let's get social. Social. Yeah, they are utterly terrible about leaning against a tower. I'm wondering whether they were told they had to lean with their backs to the tower or not. And the reason I say that is because I don't know whether you've noticed on my Facebook, Logan, but every time I go away, me and my brother have a running joke that any sort of tower, he will badly push it. So he's pretending he's pushing the Leaning Tower of Pisa or whatever, and I position the camera angle so that it is utterly terrible. So if there is anything on Belgian Mol that I would be good at, it would be this challenge. Because I am great at trying to get stupidly, terribly wrong, badly pushing photos.
And boy, oh boy, did they succeed on the first 5 attempts of posing.
Yeah, you push it from the front. You don't try and lean on it. You, push it like the Leaning Tower of Pisa.
Yeah, it's not an Amazing Race intro shot. Don't have your arms folded with your back to it.
Yeah, we'll be discussing that.
All they needed was a simultaneous head turn.
And hair flip. Don't forget the hair flips.
Don't forget the hair flip. Never do. Elisabet took a bathroom break at the worst time possible. They would have been able to get all 2,000 euros. She ruined it for them.
She pulled a Keisha and Jen and ruined everything. Although it depends how much time her bathroom break actually took up.
Minutes. She had food poisoning from a scorpion.
That would make a lot of sense.
And the reason why she ate a scorpion is after the video game challenge, when she found out her husband was going to show up, she thought eating a scorpion was an aphrodisiac.
So Bruno begins by stacking 7 mattresses straight on Axel's bike, and they also notice the red container saying you can choose only 1 item each, but choose wisely as the wrong item will negatively influence the stakes. And in 2 hours, they unlock the container and choose an item, thanks to Baz and Kat, that they've been instructed to. Kat decides to walk backwards to spot the mopeds, and they have to trust each other as they can't both watch the mopeds and spot the tiles. And they spot the first item, which is the flower arrangement that doubles the winnings, and they also find their first detail, sending Joeri and Elisabet to the Hanoi flag tower to badly lean on it to earn 500 euros. And the second item is a vase worth triple.
Vase? Vase is worth triple?
Yep, you got to somehow pile Buster Bluth onto a bike and get him through the slalom course without falling over.
There's too many bumps, Bruno!
You're a monster!
You didn't tie me down properly. I'm falling off the back now.
He'll be fine as long as you don't give him juice.
Yeah. The juice is worth 10 euros, Michael.
And Kat then spots a second vase worth absolutely nothing. And it takes them 6 attempts to do the leaning picture. And then the fourth item is a moped, a little kid's moped, for 1 times the value. And every item that falls on the ground during their exam is worth absolutely nothing. And they can't test it on the course, but they can test outside it. And then Kat and Bass find the second location, which is the Hook Bridge. And Bass gives them too much irrelevant information, because it's basically a child's drawing. And somehow the driver does know it. And then Axel and Bruno decide to name their chickens after their lady friends, Marie and Vera. And Baz and Kat spot a gong worth half, and the third location, a treehouse, as well as a TV worth double.
It's kind of weird to name your cocks after your wife.
Yeah, I'm not going to go there.
I'm just saying, that's kind of a weird thing to do.
And at the Red Bridge, Joeri and Elisabet have to wear traditional Vietnamese hats, which they succeed at, and now have to go to the One Pillar Pagoda. And then Bass finds the final location, the Temple of Literature, and they miss another moped carrying the miniature boat, worth half of the money. And at the One Pillar Pagoda, they take a photo with 3 Vietnamese teenagers, and that also succeeds.
3 Vietnamese teens, 3 Vietnamese teens, 3 Vietnamese teens.
This season is just full of tongue twisters for me. And then, at the end of 2 hours, because of Elisabet's toilet break, they don't reach the 4th location.
We assume she was going to the bathroom. I mean, she does know her husband is visiting.
She's just freshening up, alright?
Joeri, I don't feel fresh.
And Axel wants to gamble and take something that they're not aware of, and they decide to attach the flower arrangement to Bruno's bike, and Axel takes the TV initially and then removes it and swaps it out for the boat. Bruno's is worth 495 euros plus the flowers, and Axel's is worth 455 euros and the boat. And they can each make 3 errors, but a 4th will lose them everything.
This was hilarious.
Yeah, this is just like pratfalls the task.
I feel like I was watching the Japanese game show MXC from the 90s.
Takeshi's Castle, you mean?
Well, they call it MXC in Canada.
Yeah, no, it's different voiceovers as well. They treat it more like a sport in North America. It's more for the pratfalls in the UK dub. And Axel makes a mistake almost immediately and drops a water container, and then he puts his foot down and completes the first section on his third attempt, and then he makes another mistake on the straight line but clears that on the second attempt, drops a chair in the slalom, and then falls again in the bumpy lane to earn nothing. And then Bruno goes out of the lines on the figure eight and puts his foot down, but then clears that on attempt number 3, fails the straight lane just like Axel, but passes it on the second time, clears the slalom the first time, but puts his foot down at the last second to fail and earn nothing.
He loved putting his foot down. That was just an instinct reaction.
Yeah, and Kat looks really happy that they've earned no money for this task.
Oh, now you're just nitpicking Michael. She was just laughing at, it's like Margie Adams from Amazing Race. They are trying to drive on the TV about a bunch of chickens and mattresses on a moped through a slalom and bumpy course, and they are laughing at him.
And that's rude.
Logan is comparing Boss to Buster Blue through Arrested Development, but he doesn't even have a hook for a hand. He's trying his hardest, trying to draw the mural of a bridge, but it's inaccurate, and they are laughing at him.
Could you tell we're back to doing Amazing Race again, kids?
Oh, I need to do more Margie impressions on our 31 episode 1 recap.
And they earn €1,500, entirely from the influences of a possible €5,000. And this brings their episode total to 1,500 of a possible 10,000, and a running season total of 20,350 of a possible 57,400.
I see.
I don't think it's that much less than how much Lloyd took home for winning the season last year.
And we still got 3 more rounds to play.
And arguably they do have an extra round of play, but still, that's quite a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So Gilles now announces they're off to Ho Chi Minh City and suggests they pack their suitcases. And in the airport, Axel spots the Queen of the Skies, the 747 which they're riding on. And in Ho Chi Minh City, they meet up with Elisabet's husband. And my favourite character of the episode, apart from Bruno's wife, which we're about to get to because she's a legend, is the Vietnamese doorman who has to stand there awkwardly holding up the door as Elisabet and Mikhail get off. He looks so unbelievably awkward to have to be there.
He's like, can I go now? Can I go elsewhere? Anywhere? I'll even sleep in a room where I lay on the floor where there's a pig beside me.
And as a special treat, she gets a private room to herself, well, with Mikhail, while Axel, Bruno and Joeri all have to share. And they get a free day, meaning that Elisabet and Mikhail can explore the city together, while Joeri and Vas pump iron.
Yeah, this episode, if there's any episode where I had to skip through material so we could podcast on time, this was definitely the one.
And whilst Elisabet and Mikhail are on a date, everyone appears at the same restaurant, and they get a meal with their loved ones on Skype.
We think it's Skype, but Skype didn't sponsor it.
Yeah. But also, props to production, because this was seamless. The editing on this was wonderful.
And the gifts being delivered to them. Axel thought his wife was giving him curry paste. Because nothing says I love you like a bag of curry paste.
Yeah, why would I need curry paste? I'm in a country that does very spicy food as it is.
It's the queen of the spice.
My favourite bit of this entire challenge was when they had the interviews, and they'd put the screens next to the contestants, and you actually genuinely couldn't tell in some cases that they weren't there. This is beautifully done.
Yeah, that was really good. Belgium's taking it to the next level.
But also, time to talk about my absolute hero, who is Bruno's wife, and her reactions to everything. We missed a treat that Bruno didn't win this challenge, because she was just wonderful. At one point, she looked like she was being possessed. Which is our banner for the week.
A true love story never ends. Never ends, Bruno.
Ever.
Till death do you part.
Some things never stay dead.
Like Bruno's wife. Yeah, like Bruno's actually twice widowed with the same woman. She just keeps finding a way to rise up from the grave.
When she reacted to something, she did look like she was being exorcised of demons.
What? We've had this for 10 years.
Yeah, Vera's head just starts spinning round. Projectile vomit everywhere. And Elisabet and Mikhail have never been apart this long, and boy, can you tell.
Mm-hmm.
And Kat's brother says that she is a blabbermouth, so she can't be the mole. And think back to last year when Peter's brother said exactly the same thing. Oh no, he can't possibly be the mole.
He can't keep a secret. And then next thing you know, oh, by the way, Peter's brother, you're adopted. So he was able to hang on to that and onto being the mole.
Well, one of my favourite moments from last season was the video that they put up on social media after the Kineopolis finale, where they actually showed Peter's brother the clip of Peter being revealed as the mole a little bit early. And his heart broke. It was so funny. He was like, oh no, I'm going to get so much stick from this.
You're right there with him. How did you not know?
You literally slept in a car with the mole.
Yeah.
And they all get gifts from their loved ones, and Michelle would hate this.
That's it.
Yeah.
Cat gets drawn. Well, you know what would be... Let's figure out. Let's put in the order of what Michelle would want from most to least. Most, let's say the curry paste, or the cookies.
Least, a visit from her family member.
The pictures of the kids. Michelle would want the picture of Joeri's kids more than pictures of her own kids. Those would be the bottom two.
Yeah.
And Cat gets drawings and pens. And Boss gets the face cream.
Oh, face cream.
He does get it. Isn't that face cream that he got?
Thank you. I don't know.
It looked like face cream. It was some sort of cream. He's like, because he's talking about being moisturized and stuff.
You can't have a family visit episode without making jokes at Michelle's expense. It's how it works.
Yeah.
And Jill ruins everything by announcing that tonight is another test and execution. And Elisabet's advantage is her husband. He can take the test and get her results, and she can use him to rule someone out.
If he gets the worst score, the red screen will pop up, and she will be in very, very good shape.
However, it's maybe not as good as you think, because he only gets an hour to prepare.
It's enough to pile it onto one person, though.
Yeah, but if Elisabet has prepped him correctly, then it's a good thing. But if she hasn't, and she maybe forgot things that then came up on the test, it could be less representative than you think.
That's true, too. If her husband's a complete knucklehead, then yeah, she could be screwed.
He looked quite nervous.
And he's not even a contestant.
However, I would be very nervous if I was married to Elisabet and somehow caused her to lose. So, yeah, I don't blame him for being nervous.
Yeah, they have to redo the Avatar challenge, but this time Michael gets to be in the cargo hold of the plane for the duration of the flight. You are now flying with Ryanair.
Another great flight on time. I hope you don't mind standing up for 9 hours.
And you have to pay €1 to use the bathroom.
I was going to say, this genuinely sounds like a joke, but Michael O'Leary, the guy in charge of Ryanair, did at one point want to charge to use the bathroom until he was told that was illegal.
Yeah, he was pissed off about it, no pun intended.
Yeah, he also is toying with the idea of getting standing seats.
That'll never fly.
Literally, it will never fly.
Yeah, there's no way that would get approved.
So, Joeri thinks that he was being mauled super hard at the airport challenge and now suspects Kat. Elisabet suspects Baz and Kat due to the information funnel at the Instagram challenge. Kat suspects Elisabet because of her bathroom break. Bruno says you have to go for one person now. Baz is confused by Axel choosing the boat, and Axel says that it's a blessing and a curse to have the advantage for Elisabet.
Wonder if that's foreshadowing. Wonder if Michael got executed and it ruled out the wrong person.
I'm not sure, because we know that she's down to Baz and Kat. If she goes all in on Kat next week and still survives, then it's Kat. And Mikhail gets the first screen, and it is a red screen, and he has to leave immediately. And my question is whether he went for someone correctly, or did he screw something up?
But if he went for somebody else, it's a good chance that person is the mole, and he would have been safe, considering Bruno went straight ticket. That's the thing. I think Elisabet actually did get an advantage, because Bruno said, I'm going straight ticket this week. If he said, oh, I'm going for 2 people, and then Mikhail got the red screen, then we can think, oh, maybe it didn't really help that much. But because Bruno got the red screen, I'm pretty sure Elisabet got a huge advantage out of this.
Yeah, I think so too. I think she's probably going to be in the final 3 now because of this.
Regardless of whether she's the winner, the last loser, or the mole, she is set.
Yeah. And Elisabet Axel and Bass get green screens before Bruno continues the legacy of the old man going home at final 6.
Right before the execution, I wrote down, Bruno just said he's going straight ticket. He is so executed this week.
He's so screwed.
He's so screwed, just like Elisabet and Mikkel.
And interestingly, when Gilles said that the eliminee was sitting up front, Kat immediately looked at Bruno.
Did she blink in Morse code?
I'm not sure, but she did glare at him. So I don't know whether she knew something that we didn't. And Vera apparently said that Bruno couldn't come home if he lost. So Bruno is currently divorced.
I mean, I hear that a spot just opened up in the Ecuador embassy.
Yeah, as long as he can last 7 years in there with his cats and playing football in the hallways.
And lots of alcohol.
That's a topical joke. I'm sure he would love to romance Pamela Anderson as well.
Is that what Assange said too?
Yeah, Pamela Anderson was like his biggest cheerleader. Seriously.
Oh, I did not know that.
So next time, the team chase children and geese before Joeri can't write and everyone speaks Vietnamese, the mole creates a painting, and everyone faces tunnels.
Tunnel busy. It's like the Vietnam War is playing a theme in this season.
I'm so excited for next week, it looks awesome. And I think it's really interesting that the mole created a painting, because there's only 2 people that we've seen with drawing supplies in this season so far. Elisabet, who you suspect, and Kat, who I suspect.
One of us will win, and one of us will lose. And then it'll end up, and Michelle will pick boss, and she will be right.
Even more interestingly is the fact that in our pre-season teams, we actually picked our respective moles.
Mm-hmm.
Because with Bruno going, Team Saunders is down to 2 people. One of those is your first choice, who was Elisabet, and one of those is Axel, who was your 4th choice. And then I have my 2, 3, and 4, which is Kat, Joeri, and Bass, respectively.
Who's going home next week?
This is hard now, because I'm not sure. I'm going to bet against my team and say Bass.
I think Joeri's going to be executed.
I think whoever out of Bass and Joeri doesn't go home next week is probably going to be in the final with Elisabet and Kat.
Yeah, Elisabet and Kat, I think, will both be in the final 3, too. I think they both... Whoever isn't the mole suspects the correct person.
Yeah, I think Axel is being set up to be our typical comic relief Final 4 loser. Which means it's Bass or Joeri next week. Which pretty much guarantees I'm going to lose someone.
As you should.
No, Team Halmstone's going to win, because it's going to be Kat.
No, it's going to be Elisabet. Watch them get executed in 5th and 4th.
And us lose our shit.
Mm-hmm.
So, who do you suspect other than Elisabet? Let's say one other person now.
Can it be Kat? Elisabet's my number 1, Kat's my number 2, and a little bit of Boss and number 3, but not much.
Yeah, it's the other way around for me. It's Kat, Elisabet, and Bass.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't suspect Joeri or Axel at all.
No, I definitely don't suspect Joeri. If it was a normal suspect list this week, I would be putting Joeri as my last one. After that, it gets a little bit greyer.
If Joeri's the mole, I'd put his chopstick follies as my profile picture.
I know you would, but I don't think he is.
Well, I was very lucky to not have a lesson to start off this podcast because I've had full sessions pretty much every teaching day for the past month.
That's because you're getting fired, as we discussed at the start.
I don't know. Maybe they can't even consider firing me since I have 24 students.
Awesome.
Yeah. So yeah, like even with my terrible Wi-Fi the past couple days, I got 5-star ratings in all 5 categories from the parents of all the students. That never happens.
So have you got anything else to say about this episode?
Nope. I think I'm good.
So thank you for listening to this Mol Belgie recap. We will be back next week for more mole hunting. If you've got any questions, feel free to contact us on our Facebook page, Reality TV Warriors, on our Twitter account, RTV Warriors, our own Twitter pages, MJ Harmstone for me, and Log Super Quacky for Logan. Also, if you're watching Amazing Race 31, we are recapping that every Sunday. See you next week.
Peace out and just chill till the next flavoring. I'm James Duthie.
Fucking James Duthie.
Yeah. Screw that guy.
Yeah.